This is big. We have brand new quotes from Erik Spoelstra as well as Jimmy Butler about the relationship between the two. We'll break down all of those quotes as well as breaking down last night's first preseason game for this Miami Heat squad as we took on the Charlotte Hornets. I'm here to break down all of that right now on this episode of Heat Digest. So let's not waste any time and get right to the news and breaking down the importance of Coach Spo. Now, Coach Erik Spoelstra has been otherworldly ever since he got a coaching position here in Miami. And obviously it's been a long journey for Coach Erik Spoelstra, as obviously he was an assistant to an assistant coach for years on, and then he slowly but surely moved his way up the ranks and now has been a head coach for some years now. But again, it's been a long journey. He's learned a lot, and because of that, he is a damn good basketball coach, and there's really no other way around it. And again, we have a bunch of quotes, two of them from Coach Spoelstra, as well as one from Jimmy Butler himself, breaking down the actual relationship between the two individuals. Now, we'll start with this one from Emo Jimmy on Twitter. Shout out to him once again, as we cite them all the time on this Heat Digest channel. But he goes on to say, Erik Spoelstra asked about Jimmy Butler's expectations this season. He goes on to say, and I quote, he goes on to say, he needs me to coach him at the highest level, and I need him to be at his highest level as a player and a leader. And again, that is a quote from Coach Erik Spoelstra speaking about Jimmy Butler and the expectation he has on him going into this 2024-2025 NBA season. Now, obviously we know we need a lot from Jimmy Butler this season, but really it's not even that we need a lot statistically. We just need him to, one, stay healthy, and two, be the leader we know he is on and off the floor from game 1 of the preseason until game 82 of the regular season, going into the playoffs and then throughout those playoffs. He has to be the veteran. He has to be the more mature and the just elevated player amongst everyone else on this Miami Heat team. Obviously, there is a great amount of depth. There's a great amount of young players on this Miami Heat roster. But again, we need someone to lead the way. We need someone to be just the forefront leader for this Miami Heat team. Someone who has been there. Someone who has been in the big events year after year after year and has the experience to be able to handle himself through these big events and lead other players who haven't been in these situations before, just get them through it as they allow them to learn, allow them to grow, and not crumble under the pressure. And I think Jimmy Butler is one of the best examples and best possible players to have on your team to go through that situation. Now, from Clutch Points on Twitter, these are the quotes from Jimmy Butler about Coach Spoelstra and the relationship between the two of them. He goes on to say, and I quote, he's done it at every level. He's won, and I still want to reach that level. This is a new year. It's always the same goal as everybody. Like he said, he needs me, but I probably need him more than he needs me. And that's the end of the quote from Jimmy Butler, speaking on his relationship between him and Erik Spoelstra. And when you see and hear him say, like he said, he needs me, but I probably need him more than he needs me, he's referring to this quote from Coach Erik Spoelstra. Again, this is from Miami Heat Media Day just a few days ago, as Erik Spoelstra on his relationship with Jimmy Butler. And he goes on to say this, and I quote, he needs me and I need him. And that's the end of the quote from Coach Erik Spoelstra. And again, I know this is very blunt, this is very short and to the point, but this is exactly really what we already knew and what we wanted to hear. Coach Erik Spoelstra understands I am a good coach, but I need good players to lead the way, not only statistically, but by just a voice, a leadership, a figure that other players can follow, that who have not been able to establish themselves as just an established leader, if you will, like a Tyler Hero or a Duncan Robinson, a Jaime Jaquez Jr., a Terry Rozier. The list goes on and on. Obviously, they have been in the league for some time. They're decent, if not great, basketball players. But again, they are not who you think of when you say leader and you think of this Miami Heat squad. So again, this is massive in my opinion that Jimmy Butler and Erik Spoelstra understand where they're sitting in this relationship. And if things aren't going well between the two parties, in the sense that if Jimmy thinks that he's better without Coach Erik Spoelstra, this would never work. And if it was vice versa, again, it would never work. If Coach Spo thought Jimmy Butler was taking up space and he was not going to get the job done, he didn't have the faith that he has in him now, again, I do not believe I would be anywhere near as confident as I am now in this Miami Heat team, due to just the lack of trust and the lack of confidence in each other, in the sense of your number one player and your head coach not having trust in one another going in either direction is going to be a problem. And again, there is none of that going on here in Miami, which, again, I love to see. Now, we're quickly going to highlight more just awards and really just accolades for Coach Erik Spoelstra. Now, he started to be a head coach in 2008, 2009, and again, from that point forward, he has just been flat out phenomenal. Eastern Conference championships, NBA champions, Eastern Conference champions, multiple times. He has been to long playoff run after long playoff run, and again, it's not just because he has elite talent underneath him that he's coaching. He is a damn good basketball coach. There's no other way around it, and obviously, we have a bunch of different examples as we have Coach of the Months, no Coach of the Years yet. But again, one is coming. There's no way around it. If Erik Spoelstra can go his entire career without winning an NBA Coach of the Year, I don't really know what I could say, as he has been in the running for it year after year after year after year. He's already been named one of the top 15 greatest NBA head coaches of all time in 2021, 2022, as you guys see, the third from the bottom. And again, Eastern Conference Coach of the Month just months here. After month after month after month. Obviously, they're not all in the same year consecutively, but again, you get the gist. From 2009, 2010 to last year, he has been a dominant head coach in the NBA, and there's no way around it. And the last thing I'm going to cite about to praise Coach Erik Spoelstra is this headline that we have all seen before. NBA players pick Erik Spoelstra over the other legends as coaches they'd like to most play for. Again, no other bigger compliment than the players available really in the entirety of the NBA who get to watch and play against and compete against coaches, players, organizations night in and night out. They have now accepted the fact, and they have gone out and said and voted, whether it be anonymously or not, hey, that guy in Miami, Erik Spoelstra, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's a damn good basketball coach, and because of it, that team in Miami is always competitive, they're always gritty, and they always compete at the highest level for that guy. And we see it year after year, whether it be role players or star-studded players that play for this Miami Heat team. They may not play well anywhere else compared to how they play in Miami, due to what Erik Spoelstra gets out of them with this Miami Heat organization and the culture established here. And again, it is phenomenal to see, and I'm just so thankful to have someone as well established as someone like Coach Erik Spoelstra. And again, I just love to see that him and Jimmy Butler, the star player for the Miami Heat, are on good terms, and the relationship between the two is going so well. But now let's get to it and break down game one of the preseason. It's not going to be a long breakdown of this game because, again, it is a preseason game. If you did watch this game, you will know that we did lose 108 to 111. We were leading for about the majority of this game, I will say. I won't say 2/3 of this game, but again, we were leading for the majority of this game. We ended up losing 108 to 111 on an away game in Charlotte. So interesting, but there's a few things we have to take away from this. And the first thing is, first of all, this is not how our box score is probably going to look night in and night out, unfortunately, in the sense that we had a lot of players play. And again, it's preseason. We're going to have this happen a lot for the 4 games that we have in the preseason. Expect a lot of different players. Expect everyone to be anywhere from 10 to 15 to 18 minutes played. And again, that's what you're going to see a lot of here. A few things we're going to point out. And again, we're not going to go through every single stat line. We're going to pick out the ones that really, I think, made the most impact and things that really stood out to me the absolute most. And in the starting lineup, one thing in particular stands out to me, and that is Mr. Bam Adebayo, who shot 2 of 5 from the three-point line, from behind the three-point line. We talked about it on end about how we saw the growth and development of his game last season into the end of the year, into the playoffs, into the summer where he played for Team USA on the Olympic trials, and now coming into this new season with this Miami Heat team, Bam Adebayo has been told, and everyone else in the media has been told, he's going to shoot more of these three-point attempts. And in game one of the preseason, I know it's the preseason. Don't jump on me. We still have to take it the way we watched it. He shot 5 threes. I will say, I believe he had 4 of them in the first half. It was great to watch. He's putting them up. He's not scared to shoot them regardless of where he is on the floor and what the situation is. He's more than willing to put the ball up if he's in a good position to do so. Now, another thing I would like to point out, there's only one basketball, and we have to understand that. We have to understand we have to move the basketball, and because of that, something I saw, Jimmy Butler setting screens, Terry Rozier setting screens, basically everyone, and the reason I highlight those two is because we're normally seeing them dominate the ball, being the scoring option. They weren't doing that. Yes, there were moments. Obviously, Rozier shot 10 times. Butler did shoot 6 times. He was very efficient on 3 of 6 shooting with 4 of 4 free throws, as he's a menace getting to the free throw line. But just the idea of them going out, putting their bodies on the line, if you'd like to stretch that idea just a bit, but setting hard ball screens, allowing other teammates like Bam Adebayo and other players that play very well off the ball, like Jaquez, Robinson, and Hero, who did not play last night, catch the ball off those down screens and set up more of the Miami Heat offense to really look a bit more different rather than just having a ball-dominant scheme that goes through Jimmy Butler or goes through Terry Rozier or Tyler Hero or a ball-dominant guard. So, again, I love to see that. A lot of off-ball screens from even big-name players. And, again, we already highlighted Bam Adebayo's three-point shot. I will say, a lot of youngsters made themselves look very, very good last night. We couldn't stop LaMelo Ball. He had 4 threes in the first quarter. He had 26 points in 23 minutes against this Miami Heat team. That shit ain't going to fly. There's no way around it. Our defense has to step up. There's no other way around it. A youngster in LaMelo Ball who has been injury-riddled his entire career cannot just go off like that. It just leaves me to think that other talented players in the league are going to be able to manipulate our defense and just tear us to shreds. But what I wanted to highlight, Pelle Larsson might have been the player of the game. He wasn't due to another rookie who played outstanding. We'll get to in just a second. But Pelle Larsson was phenomenal. He never stopped moving, whether he had a basketball in his hands or not. He was moving whether he got a screen or not. Again, on or off ball. He was phenomenal. Backdoor cuts, going off of elevator screens. It was flawless. I love to see it happen, and I think he's going to play a lot more than anyone thought due to his ability and willingness to move without a basketball, set down screens, set off ball screens, get cut to the basket hard and aggressive, look for the ball, catch it, finish aggressive at the rim. He's athletic. We know this. And he has ability to facilitate the basketball at a high level. What I watched from Pelle Larsson last night, I absolutely loved, and I can't wait to see more of it. Now, the last player we're going to highlight, excluding a team stat. But again, this player deserves all the credit in the world for what he did last night and setting the tone defensively for a Miami Heat team that is defensive-minded to begin with. And that is the rookie we drafted with the 15th overall pick in this past year's draft, Kelly Ware. Now, if you look, he had 13 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 4 blocks. We had a team high 11 blocks. That ties our team high collective block total in a single game. All of last year in the first game of preseason, Kelly Ware has opened up another level of defensive opportunity and abilities for this Miami Heat team, and he's here to take the lead by storm, and I can't wait to watch it. And all you guys in the comments that told me he's not going to be as good as you think watch this. Watch this. What'd he shoot? 5 of 9 from the field, 1 of 3 from behind the three-point line, and 2 of 4 from the free throw line. I understand 50% from the free throw line is not going to get the Bills paid. It is a work in progress. The fact that he can shoot threes, the fact that he can make free throws, and his ability to be a versatile defender at any point on the floor is never going to be overlooked because he is going to be a problem from game 1 until game 82. But again, that is it for this episode of Heat Digest. I had to bring it to you guys. I absolutely loved what I watched last night. I know we lost the game. We lost the rebounding battle horrifically. But again, game 1 of a long, long season. I can't wait to see how this Miami Heat team pans out. And I think it's going to be a problem for the rest of the NBA. But again, that will be it for this episode of Heat Digest. I will see you guys on the next one.